Good morning, dear students. Welcome to my CBSE world. And today's video, we are going to see nationalism in India. Already in our last video, we have discussed about the introduction and the key personalities, and some introduction about the nationalism in India. And what are the keywords which we have come across? Nationalism and nation state, modern state, Khilafat movement, civil division movement, non-cooperation movement, etc., and colonialism and imperialism. So, what is nationalism? Nationalism deals about it's a we feeling. So, people are feeling that we are united. So, one should have the loyalty, one should have the unity, one should have the love towards our own country. So, if you put in one word, the feeling of love towards one country, this is called nationalism. So, how this nationalism developed in India during the British rule, and how our Indian national leaders and the people of India fought against the British government. So this is the main theme of this lesson. Already we have discussed it. In today's video, we will focus on the First World War and the growth of nationalism. Okay, and what is the relationship between the First World War and how it is contributed to the growth of nationalism in India? So for this, we need to go back to your 8th and 9th class social science textbook, especially history. So you should recall or recollect what we have learned in your 8th and 9th class, and it is a direct link between the 8th, 9th and your 10th class. So one should have to have a clear-cut understanding about the background knowledge about the First World War. So for this, you might have heard the name called Mina, right? So what does it mean? What does it mean? It means that yes. So we are going to So this is This is, let us say, okay. So this is, let us say, North America. What is that? North America. This is South America. South America. And this is, let us say, Britain, and we have Europe. Europe, right? And here we have Asia. Here we have Asia. Here is the India. And this is Sri Lanka. And this is Africa, right? This is called Africa. Europe. And this is Asia. And this is India, right? And we have Australia here also. Australia. And we have Antarctica, right? So we have 7 continents, especially in Europe, Britain, which is part of Europe, ruled India. They came and ruled India. For how many years? Almost 200 years they ruled India. They got control over India in 1757 till 1947. They ruled India for this period. But before this, so in Europe, in 1750, Industrial Revolution came. Which revolution, Anna? Industrial Revolution came. Industrial Revolution, right? So there is a competition between the European countries over the raw materials. Okay, what are the raw materials they want? They need cotton, spices, right, and other raw material forest products. Okay, and they want silk, and they want opium, they want indigo. So these are the raw materials which European people needed. Because industrialization took place for the first time in Europe, especially in Britain, in Manchester, right? And spread it to other part of the Europe, especially here we have France, and we have Germany, then we have here Portugal, then we have Spain. So these are the countries which are looking for raw materials. So there is a competition between the European countries, right? And finally what happened? Finally, what happened? So there is a more competition between the Britain. What is that, Anna? Britain plus France plus Germany. Okay. So these are the countries which are looking for raw materials, and there is a heavy competition between the Portuguese also. Portuguese plus Spanish people, Spain people, right? And which led to the, and of course Italy also. Italy. So Britain, B, France, F, Germany, and Portugal, P, and Spain, S, and Italy. So these are the countries which are heavily competing for raw material or resources, which are there in India, okay, and as well as in Africa, and as well as in Latin America. It means Latin America or South America. South America also can be called as Latin America. So these European countries, looking what they are looking? They are looking raw material. What they are looking, Nana? Raw material. From where? They are looking in Latin America, they are looking in Africa, they are looking in India. Right. So there is a heavy competition. Britain want raw material, France want raw material, Germany want raw material, and Portugal, Spain, Italy, and other European countries which are heavily competing for raw material, means resources. They want resources. Okay, they don't have. European country doesn't have the resources. So in this context, what happened? So there is a mnemonics. You can remember that. MINA. What is that MINA? M-A-I-N-A. MINA. M stands for militarism. What is that? Militarism. A stands for alliances. I stands for imperialism. I'm just telling you the background of this First World War. Then nationalism. Right? Then assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. So what is militarism? Because Britain, I am using the shortcut. B stands for Britain. Britain, France, Germany, Italy, and Portuguese and Spain people. Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Portuguese, Spain people increasing their military power. Means they are recruiting the soldiers, they are modernizing their army with the guns and weapons. Okay, and day by day they are increasing their military power, and this increasing military power is called militarism. Okay, today we have Indian Army, right? Indian military. So which has BSF, Border Security Force, Indian Naval Force, Indian Air Force. We have different military, no. So then alliances. So these some of the European countries, especially Britain, France, to some extent Russia also making alliances, friendship. If Britain is attacked by Germany, if Britain is attacking Germany, so to defend Britain or to protect Britain, France also backing Britain, Russia also backing Britain. So these are called alliances. So these alliances are called allied power. What power, Nana? Allied power. Then we have second set of alliances that spearheaded by Germany. G stands for Germany, then Italy, then Austria and Hungary, plus T stands for Turkey. I am writing short because due to save the space. So G stands for Germany, I stands for Italy, A stands for Austria and Hungary, T stands for Turkey. And these are called central power. Which power? Central power. So we have two powers. One is BFR, Britain, France, Germany, allied powers, and we have Germany, Italy, Austria and Hungary, and Turkey, Ottoman Empire. Those are called central power. Okay, this is called alliances. Right. Now coming to imperialism. What do you mean by imperialism? Imperialism, a policy of extending one country's politically, economically and military over the other countries. Indirectly, they are influencing politically, economically and militarily. This is called imperialism, indirect policy. Right? And I told you yesterday, colonialism, what is colonialism? It's the economic and political control of one country over the other country. So, India became a colony of Britain because Britain extending its economic and political control over India. They ruled India. They ruthlessly exploited our natural resources. They have taken taxes from Indian peasants, Indian farmers and Indian people. And politically, economically, they are controlling India. This is called colonialism. Remember that. So, colonialism is part of imperialism. So, what is imperialism? It's a policy of indirect control, extending control over the other nation politically, economically, and militarily. This is called imperialism. Then, what is nationalism? What is nationalism? It's a feeling of unity, loyalty, and love towards our own country. So, I told you in introduction class, I told you what is nationalism. We feeling a love towards our own country. This is called nationalism. Then assassination. So one of the country which is in central power, the Austria and Hungary. What is that? Austria and Hungary. King, Prince, Archduke Ferdinand. Archduke, shortcut. Archduke Ferdinand. Archduke Ferdinand. So, Archduke Ferdinand is the Prince of Austria and Hungary. He went to Slovakia, okay, Czechoslovakia. So, as a for vacation purpose, he went where the Serbian, one of the countries called Serbia, Serbian national. So, one of the Serbian national killed Archduke Ferdinand. Who is Archduke Ferdinand? He is the king of Austria-Hungary. He is from which power? Central power. He is alliance. I told you, two alliances. One is allied powers and central power. So, Austria-Hungary is part of central power. Austria-Hungary prince was killed by Serbian civilian Gavrilo Principi. He killed Archduke Ferdinand. Where? In Slovakia. And this Serbia has a secret friendship, means alliances with Russia and Britain and France. Right. Now what happened? So now this Austria and Hungary has given the Archduke Ferdinand killed by Serbian on June 28, 1914. Okay. Then Austria has given warned. Austria has warned which country? Serbia. Austria has warned Serbia. Why they warned? And they are asking explanation. Why you killed our prince? Okay. So when it took place on June 28, 1914. Where it took place? In Slovakia. Okay. Czechoslovakia. Okay. Then they have given 1 month time to Serbia on July 28, 1914. Austria and Hungary declared a war on Serbia. War on Serbia. And I told you, Serbia has friendship with alliances backed by Serbia has backed by Britain, France, and Russia. And who are Britain and France, Russia? They are allied powers. That we all know that. So we have two powers, allied powers and central power. So these allied powers, Britain, France, Russia, backing the Serbia. So the Serbian civilian person killed Austria-Hungary Prince Archduke Ferdinand. Now, on what day? June 28, 1914. They have given 1 month declaration. Austria and Hungary has given 1 month For explanation, we are giving 1 month time. You need to explain why you killed our prince, our Raja. So they didn't give an explanation. So the Austria-Hungary attacked Serbia. When the Serbia attacked by Austria-Hungary, so Britain, France, Russia supporting Serbia and Serbia. And this Austria-Hungary is part of which power? Central power. Which power? Central power. And who are the member of central power? Germany, Italy, then Austria and Hungary plus Turkey. Right? So these people backing the Hungary, Germany, Italy and Turkey backing Austria. Finally what happened? So this BFR stands for Britain, Russia backing the Serbia. And this Germany, Italy plus Turkey plus Austria and Hungary. So Germany, Italy, Austria, Hungary backing the Austria and Hungary. So this led to the First World War. So First World War started July 28, 1914. So this is the background, you should know that. And what is the impact of India? Why India is worrying about that? And why you have mentioned this? No, if you look at this so if you look at this First World War and the growth of nationalism. So what is the relationship between the First World War and the growth of nationalism in India? Why? Because India was the colony of Britain, I told you. So India was ruled by British people. So the Britain involved in the First World War, and it was part of which group? Allied group. So now Britain is forcing Indian people to pay taxes, to provide food, to supply the food to Britain. Okay. And there was one more, conscription, means forced military. They are recruiting our rural Indians to join the army to fight on behalf of Britain in Europe. So this was the main theme now. So now tell them, the First World War created a severe hardship in India. The First World War created a severe hardship in India. Yes. The First World War created a severe hardship in India, and there are the two fronts. One is a economic front. Economic front means economic wise or economic effects. And economic effects, increase in taxes. So British government collecting taxes from people of India. So we have different set of people. So imagine this is the British, BG stands for British government, collecting taxes from different people. They are collecting taxes from peasant, they are collecting taxes from farmer, they are collecting taxes from businessman, they are collecting taxes from the other workers. So in this way because of the British policies, various people affected, peasant, farmers, businessmen, other working people, employees, income tax, employees. So these various people are facing the problem. Why? Because they increase the taxes. Why they increase the taxes? To fund that money to Britain. And Britain is involved in which war? First World War. And Britain is fighting against the Germany and Austria-Hungary and Turkey. Okay. Now, so increasing taxes, and this money, this money is going to help Britain in World War I. Remember this thing. And second, the rise in prices of essential commodities. What does it mean? Because when the war is going on, First World War took place from 1914 to 1918, almost 4 years. There was no crop production in Britain. The Britain was busy with fighting war with Germany and other allied, central powers. So there was no enough crop production. So they want food. The food is coming from India. The food is going from India to Europe. The food is going from India to Europe. When the food is going from India to Europe, so there is a shortage of food in India. So we are suffering. There is no food. So as a result, the food commodity prices are increasing. The essential commodities like dal, rice, oil, rice, wheat, everything. The prices of these essential commodities. What do you mean by essential? Which need on daily basis, which are essential, which are important for us. We can't live without vegetables right now. Today we are cooking vegetables. Today we want rice. Today we want wheat. So these are essential things. Today we want, without oil we can't cook vegetables. Without oil we can't make the puris. We can't without oil. So there are essential commodities. So the prices of essential commodities are increasing, and forced recruitment of soldiers in villages. The British government ordering to recruit the soldiers from the villages. So village people are reluctant. They are not showing interest to join the army and to fight on behalf of Britain in the World War I in Europe. So this is called conscription. What is that? Conscription. This is called conscription. What do you mean by conscription? Forced recruitment of soldiers from Indian villages. Where Nana? From Indian villages. So which got resented by the Indian people. They got angry. They are not showing interest then. And shortage of food grains. I told you, there is as a result, food is going to Europe. There is a shortage of food grains. Then inflation affected common people. Day by day, the prices of the food commodities are increasing. Rice price increasing, wheat price increasing, vegetables are increasing. So all the essential commodities prices are increasing. Onion, oil, etc., vegetables, etc., etc. So when the food prices are increasing, when the food is going to there, and the common people badly affected. Who is the common people? The peasant, the farmer, the poor people. They can't afford. No, rich people can buy. Suppose that today, if tomato price goes to 100 rupees, rich people can buy, but poor people cannot afford to buy those tomatoes. Similarly, it's badly affected the common people. Who are the common people? Poor people, poor, working class people, farmers, peasant, women especially. So they are facing the problem. And so these are the things you should remember in your board examination. What was the first? How the First World War created what is the impact of First World War on Indian people or Indian economy or Indian people? So what is the effect of First World War on India? If the question is asking like this, you should write the answer this one: economic effect and social effect and political effect also. So today video we are going to discuss economic effect and political effect. What are the economic effects now? First, increase in taxes. First, to fund the money to the Britain in the World War. Second, rising prices of essential commodities. I told you, forced recruitment of soldiers, this is called conscription, and shortage of food grains. Then inflation affected common people. Inflation means what? The rising of prices, the rising prices of commodities. Okay, this is called inflation. And what is the social effect on India? Villagers were forced to join the army. I told you, conscription. So they are making mandate. When the war is going on, they are making, they took the decision that everyone should join the army to support Britain in Europe. So this was badly, resented by Indian people. And famines and epidemics spread. Famines. So there is a shortage of food due to drought condition, due to low rainfall. So there is led to famine. And one more thing, not only this is a not natural famine, it is a man-made famine. Why? Because the food is going to Europe, right? Food is going to Europe, though, so there is a shortage of food in India. So in this context, it led to famines and epidemics. What do you mean by epidemics? You should understand. So when you outbreak, epidemics, pandemics, pandemic, you might have heard that, corona pandemic, all of a sudden it came and spread all over the world, right? Epidemic means disease spreading in one area, rampantly spreading to other part of area. Okay, so epidemics like influenza, cholera. So then influenza epidemic of 1918 killed nearly 3 to 4 million people. So these are the, you should remember. Social fact: villagers were forced to join the army. Second, famines and epidemics were spread rampantly, and the influenza epidemic of 1918 killed nearly 30 to 40 lakhs Indians. It killed, the influenza epidemic killed nearly 3 to 4 million people. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. Nearly 30 to 40 lakhs people were killed due to influenza virus. Okay. So then, what is the result here? The people became dissatisfied because all these factors, what factor are economic effects, then social effects, the people of rural India, the people of India, the people who are living in rural area, the people who are living in towns, the people who are living in cities are entirely dissatisfied by the British policies and British rule, and creating a favorable condition for the rise of nationalism. This is how, what is the link between the First World War and the growth of nationalism in India. So when you may be asked a question like for 5 marks or 3 marks, if the question, what is the impact of First World War on India? So you have to highlight these points. And neatly you can draw that. How the British government badly affected peasant, farmers, businessmen, merchant, working class people, employees, employed people. So you can write like this. And common man badly affected due to a rise of essential commodities. So going to the next slide. Now going to the next slide. Mahatma Gandhi and the national movement. What is that? Mahatma Gandhi and the national movement. So Mahatma Gandhi and the national movement. We all know that Mahatma Gandhi played an important role in India's freedom struggle. Okay, he was the spearheading. He was the captain of this movement. He was the captain of the Team India. We can say Team India, right? So yeah, fighting against the British. Yeah, it's a kind of team. He was the captain actually. So Mahatma Gandhi returned from South Africa in 1915 and introduced the new methods of mass struggle based on satyagraha, truth force, and ahimsa, non-violence. So very, very important from an examination point of view. So Mahatma Gandhi, we all know that. I will tell you the brief, background about the Gandhi. No, so brief background about the Gandhi, and yeah. So here, so again, this is Britain, and this is let us say Europe, okay, and this here is the India. So Mahatma Gandhi went to Britain in 1889 to study the barrister, or let us say lawyer profession. To study the lawyership, he went to Britain, and he completed his lawyer study, and he returned to India in 1892. After 3 years, he returned to India. Then from India, and he worked as a lawyer in Bombay High Court for a period of 1 year. And there was a case in South Africa. So one of the merchant of his name is Dayalal, one Muslim merchant actually, one merchant. He's from Muslim community, and he took Gandhiji to South Africa. Where, Nana? South Africa. So this South Africa ruled by Britain. South Africa also ruled by Britain. India was also ruled by Britain. Okay. So he went to South Africa to plead one case. Okay. And he was there he went to 1893, and till 1915 he was in Africa only, South Africa only. He served for Indian people, and because Indian people, I don't want to say because yeah. So we have to go back again. So killing time actually. Sorry for that. So during 17th and 18th century, some of the workers went to taken by the British planters, the British companies, to work as a labor in South Africa. So they are called indentured labor. Which labor? Indentured labor. So our people are working there in Africa, and they are in 9th class. They are facing the problem called racial segregation, apartheid, and white and non-white, etc., etc. So our Indian people who are working in the indentured labor are facing so much of hardship. They are leading a very hard life. He actually went for 1 year, but after going there and seeing the situation of Indian laborers and Indian workers, he stayed for 19 years, and he started one of the important organization called Natal Indian Association. So, and then he came back to India, which year, Nana, I told you, 1915, January, which year, which month? January 9th, January 9th, he came to India. This is the background of the story. So, Gandhi went to Europe as to study the lawyer, barrister in 1889, and he came back to India after 3 years, 1892, and he worked as a lawyer in Bombay High Court. And from there, to plead one case, he went to South Africa. And we all know that, you might have heard the name called Gandhis were thrown from the railway station in Pretoria, Durban by white man, and he got for the first time he faced the racial discrimination by white people. So he was the first class ticket. He is having first class ticket. So when he when he went inside the first class bogie, that compartment, he was pushed by the white Britishers. So for the first time he experienced the first hand experience of the what is racial discrimination. And then he took the decision to fight against the racial discrimination. This was the story. Need not to discuss all this because I am giving you the overview. Now going to the main. So yes. So Mahatma Gandhi returned to South Africa in 1915, January 9th. January 9th we are celebrating as a Pravasi Bharatiya Divas by Indian government. You can see that, check it now. Introduce a new methods called principles Satya, truth force, resistance through the truth and non-violence, and ahimsa, non-violence. Avoiding violence while opposing the injustice. Who is doing injustice to India? Who is doing injustice to India? It is the Britishers. It is the British people who are doing injustice to India, right? So he is fighting against the injustice. And what methods he used, Nana? He used satyagraha. What is satyagraha? Truth force. Truth will prevail. Okay. Resistance through the truth and non-violence. And ahimsa, non-violence. Avoiding violence by opposing the injustice. Important. For the first time, ordinary Indians became the active participant in the freedom struggle. Very, very important. When was the ordinary Indian, the people who are living in rural areas, villages and towns, they are called ordinary people, right? So these people, even common man, let's say common man also became an active participant in the freedom struggle because when Gandhiji came to India. And Gandhiji, when he came in India in 1915, January 9, and he took because Gandhi was so much popular in Africa, because he worked for 19 years. He struggled, he fought against the racial discrimination. He fought on behalf of Indian people against the British government in Africa. As we all know that, if you go to South Africa. Okay, and immediately Gandhi was so much popular in Africa, and the Indian National Congress working that time Indian National Congress fighting against the British government. So it's an organization, we all know that. And INC approached Gandhiji to join the Indian National Congress, but Gandhiji refused, and he took the decision. He want to tour India. He want to go throughout the India. He want to tour India. So he took the journey in 1915 or 1916, and he came to Bombay. Then he went to Karnataka. Then he went to Kerala. Then he went to Tamil Nadu. He came to Telugu states like Telangana and Andhra. And he went to Orissa. Then he went to Bengal. Then he went to Bihar. In Bihar, there was one agitation is going on. That agitation is called Champaran Satyagraha. Champaran Satyagraha. Champaran is the place located in Bihar. And these people are fighting against the indigo planters. Indigo plantation against the British planter. The company. Plantation company. So which means they are directly fighting against the British government. They don't want to cultivate the indigo plantation. And this Champaran Satyagraha took place in 1917. For the first time, Gandhiji participated. Which Satyagraha? For the first time, Gandhiji participated means you have to say Champaran Satyagraha. Then followed by, after Champaran, then he participated the Kheda Satyagraha. Then one more strike he was participated, Ahmedabad mill strike. Mill strike. Ahmedabad mill strike. So people, this is in 1918 and this is also in 1918. Okay. So this is the brief story of the Gandhiji. I think you might understand. So just remember, Satyagraha, the truth force, and the ahimsa, non-violence. These are the two principles which are taken up by the Gandhiji and participated in the freedom struggle movement. So with this, I am concluding today, and thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you all.